I have a really long commute. It's usually about an hour and a half each way. I bring that up because I wanted to let you know that I spend a lot of time behind the wheel of review cars. The first time I drove the big Cadillac to work, I engaged the smart cruise control. Noticed when the blind spot alert became active, felt the seat vibrate if I drifted out of my lane, and watched both the big navigation screen and the really cool full-color heads-up display. While doing all this, I realized we're probably not that far away from a car that will drive itself at least part of the way to your destination. Turns out, Cadillac thinks so too.
And we see the semi-autonomous vehicle or the self-driving vehicle as the next stage in that evolution. The system works by using a fusion of sensors, GPS, radar, cameras, all of that combined to give a 360-degree view around the vehicle, as well as knowledge about the road system that the vehicle is traveling on, to really deliver the ultimate in terms of a controlled experience.
I don't know how much of a risk versus benefit reward there is in a car that can get you to the dry cleaner or the barber automatically, but a car that I can taxi onto I-95 and then let it take me the rest of the way to Boston or Washington, that seems like a great innovation that's not too far away.
Vehicles that we're introducing even this year, the 2013 Cadillac XTS and the Cadillac ATS, already have technology that's a precursor to the kinds of systems that we're talking about. For instance, systems like the virtual front and rear bumpers that will bring the vehicle to a stop in the event of an impending collision at low speeds. Obviously, full range adaptive cruise control, so not only the ability to maintain a speed but come to a complete stop and then the vehicle re-accelerate again within stop and go traffic situations.
The adaptive cruise on the Cadillac functioned quite well. Only once did I have to override it because it was accelerating too slowly for the car that was coming up behind me. I only had to disengage it once because someone had vacated the lane in front of me, and I had the Cadillac set for too high a speed for that section of highway. By the way, Cadillac is one of the new cars that shows you the posted speed limit for the road you're traveling on. The Cadillac can display it on the navigation screen, on the heads-up display next to your actual speed, or on the completely customizable instrument cluster. The area of the dash where you would normally see an analog gauge for the speedometer and tachometer can display all of those things, but also a lot of other information, including navigation, tire pressure, and even album art. While some may find this technology overwhelming, I had another problem. I had trouble figuring out the correct time. In addition to having absolutely no sense of direction, I also have no sense of time. While the Cadillac did provide a digital clock in the corner of the navigation screen, I found it was often obscured by details on the map or other information on the 8-inch touchscreen. In my opinion, a separate analog or digital clock would be a great addition. I know, I wear a watch, but it's hard to see at night, and I don't want to pick up my iPhone to check the time and then get a ticket for using a handheld device while driving. Plus, the temptation to text or read email is just too great for me. Speaking of portable devices, I'm sure you've seen the Cadillac commercial that shows you the buttons and knobs in other cars and then asks how many buttons are on your tablet. As I've said before, my iPad does not go 80 miles an hour. While the Cadillac touchscreen system is one of the best in the business, it's still a touchscreen in a car. Yes, it does give a haptic feedback when you land on a virtual button that you do or do not want. It also displays more fingerprints than an episode of CSI. Cadillac does provide a soft cloth in the center console so that you can periodically attempt to wipe away the evidence, but some drivers may still find the fingerprint collage annoying. Fortunately, Cadillac has left some features off the main touchscreen. The seat heaters and chillers are touch activated, but the target is a hard plastic area of the center stack. I did eventually get used to the touch slider for the volume control, and while I normally hate those things, mainly because I can't reach over and quickly hit a button to silence the Cards for Kids commercial, which runs often enough to give me a seizure, I did find out that if you hit the phone hang-up button on the steering wheel, it'll mute programming. While the interior of the big Cadillac was beautiful with a great fit, including the accent lighting, I'm not so sure about some of the finish. I found the hard black plastic controls on the spokes of the steering wheel to be difficult to use and cheap feeling for a vehicle in this class. The press materials for Cadillac say it's the only luxury sedan with standard magnetic ride control. While Cadillac has been a pioneer in magnetic ride and their system is excellent, I couldn't figure out how to adjust it. In some cars in this price range, you can hit a button to choose between regular, comfort, and sport. The trunk is cavernous and the car is bigger than it looks. A few times I had to make sure I had pulled far enough into the garage so I could close the door behind the nearly 17-foot long Cadillac. The visibility on the 2013 XTS is worlds better than on previous large Cadillacs. With the XTS, I didn't have to put it in reverse, check the backup camera, do a Linda Blair, and then just hope for the best. I could actually see where I was going. That was due in part to the window in the C-pillar, which looks suspiciously like what was called an opera window in the 1970s. The exterior door handles light up on the Cadillac, which I would say is a great feature, except I couldn't figure out when they would or wouldn't light up. It was probably somewhere in the owner's manual, but that's on an iPad, and GM wisely did not leave that in the press car. The 304 horsepower, 3.6-liter six-cylinder engine was adequate getting onto and off of congested highways, but I wouldn't call it effortless in that sort of luxury car way. According to published reports, the 2013 Cadillac XTS will get you from 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. Now, it didn't seem quite that fast to me, but maybe their reporter weighs a lot less than I do. If you've seen me lately, you'll realize that wouldn't be so hard. The all-wheel drive 4,215-pound XTS gets 70 miles per gallon in the city and 26 on the highway. It also has a 19.5-gallon fuel tank, which should give you a range of about 500 miles on the highway. The base price for the 2013 Cadillac XTS all-wheel drive Platinum Collection was a little over $60,000. The driver assist package and the special red paint job added $3,390. The total price as tested was about $65,000. I'm Grant Winter reporting for Real World Test Drive.